What's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video back on Bitcoin and the insane price moves that have been going on. We've smashed 40K and are currently sitting at $44,200. So this insane move. There's been a lot of key targets that have been hit to kind of signify that Bitcoin may be back in his bull market and things may be turning around for Bitcoin. All the bears have gone quiet and no longer can say 10K Bitcoin is imminent, which was what everyone was screaming. But right now, you can see for the daily, Bitcoin got rejected pretty much off of this line right here for 44,600. We're kind of coming back up to challenge that, but didn't fall far and bounced right off the previous line here, coming back up. So a lot of good sites happening, and not only with price, but the price is the biggest thing. You zoom out and you can see we've got 45,300 will be a bigger benchmark. That one might not be as big because it's super close, but then we've got 47K, and then around 49.5, 50K will be a huge one. Getting above 50K is going to be massive, a huge emotional level where people can kind of put 50K as a benchmark number and kind of just go off of that. And Bitcoin getting back above that will just make people think a lot more positively about Bitcoin. Even this rally is changing people's minds and the sentiment is going bullish, but getting above 50 would be the best. And then you see it's just open space until almost 59,000. And then after that, we're back to challenging all-time highs. So it's not that big of a move for Bitcoin to get out of this kind of range here and start going to all-time highs. And a six-figure Bitcoin is still very easily in the cards right now. And this is one of the key lines and indicators for this whole move right now, why it's so important. This was the high of almost 65,000, and then obviously it touched it again, and it's just a straight downtrend line, and we collapsed and traded sideways here for a while before getting up, and you can see we broke through the downtrend and came back, retested it, and bounced off it. So that is a great indicator and confirmation of Bitcoin turning bullish, the price starting to rise again, and something where the majority of people can get back on. And all these TA, because the TA was the only thing screaming bearish, that was the only thing people could go off of to make Bitcoin bearish, because the fundamentals have never been bullish. There's more users, there's more adoption, there's more talk about it. Bitcoin's been exploding. Fundamentals have been great. On-chain has been great. TA has been the only thing lacking. And with this reversing, and if we get this into a bullish trend, then the TA and fundamentals lining up, both being bullish, no one would be able to try and come up with a bearish scenario. There's going to be people screaming that Bitcoin's worthless, just like they always do, but it's going to be much harder with no evidence for people to kind of back them and believe it. And one of the biggest things for this whole rally is that it's not based on leverage. We can look at longs and shorts here, and you see longs are down, shorts are up. It seems like a lot, but it's not up that much. I mean, we can see this chart. I mean, the beginning of the month, August 1st, there's over 2,000 Bitcoin short, and we're at 1868. So even though it's had a bigger jump in the day, this is comparing to yesterday, it's not a huge deal that it's jumped that much because it's still nowhere near even the beginning of the month. So this just shows the market not confident in shorting Bitcoin and trying to push the price down. And longs going down is a weird indicator because people think of longs that's people bullish on Bitcoin, and yeah, that's what it means, but it also means leverage, which means if something goes wrong and the price starts to come down, the leverage can get flushed out, and that can cause the price to collapse way more than it would have with little leverage in it. And that's where we're at right now. There's not that much leverage in the system. It's basically all spot trading, which means people paying the price for Bitcoin, not putting $1,000 in exchange and getting $10,000 worth of buying power. That would be leverage. It'd be 10x, and that's pretty normal for crypto stuff. I think you can get 10x and things pretty easily, but there's not that happening. We've had back at 44,000 when we were there before, the leverage was sky high, and right now the leverage is insanely low. So that's a great sign for the bullishness and price of Bitcoin to be stable at these levels. And low leverage means low collapsibility, if that makes sense. Like when there's super high leverage, when longs are super leveraged, people are really out there. If the price went down $1,000, that's when you start getting liquidations, and the leverage can cause the price to collapse more. Whereas we've seen the price go down 1,000, rebound, and that's because there's not that much leverage. If there was a ton of leverage, it would go down 1,000, trigger liquidations, and then continue to plummet and go down like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And then we'd have to find the base again and do this whole process over. But right now, we're not in that situation. And another indicator for Bitcoin is its hash rate, and that is right here. You can see it still recovering, still going up, nothing in sight. It seems like we've found the bottom, and miners are starting to relocate, starting to turn back on, start operating again, and Bitcoin miners are starting to expand their operation. We've seen a bunch of miners reinvesting into their companies. So it was like Marathon bought $120 million worth of Bitcoin miners. I mean, we've seen Bit Farms. They're expanding their hash power, their mining power, and doing all these things. And Bitcoin mining right now is currently the most profitable business right now, and that's crazy to see. I've seen a bunch of people talking about that Bitcoin mining is one of the most profitable businesses right now, and with the mining rate or the hash rate falling so much, there might be a bunch of people influxing in here, so we'll get new miners set up, old miners relocating, and new current miners getting even more supply. So that's just going to continue pushing the hash rate up, and that's something that's been tied to Bitcoin's price for a long time now, and not it looks good. Obviously, we see the reversal in this hash rate power, and then you see kind of the reversal in Bitcoin price here, just skyrocketing up, and the hash rate power is starting to trend back up. So this is a good sign for the entire market and the Bitcoin price. And finally, another huge good point, bullish point for Bitcoin in the short term is that the exchanges are plummeting in their reserves. The Bitcoin is being taken off of exchanges. We see about in April, this was near this top here, was when this started trending upwards, when Bitcoin started flowing back into exchanges. That's when it started going up and the price started collapsing. Obviously, we had tweets here and everything to cause even more collapse. But the trend was that Bitcoin returned to exchanges. And you see kind of trade sideways, trading sideways in the price. And then a huge spike down here in reserve. And this is continuing to move down. But this huge move down, I don't know if you could see it before, but we got it now. This huge move down, just kind of signifying that Bitcoin's leaving exchanges. People are taking it and putting it in hardware wallets or their own wallet, and it's no longer sitting on the exchange, which is good to see. And when we see this, we see the price pump up and start to have a reaction, and we've already seen this. And this trend, I think, will continue to go. FUD has already died out. There isn't much people can say about Bitcoin to try and bring it down. The FUD's been baked out. China is no longer involved in Bitcoin. The miners are gone. You can't bring up China FUD. Energy is being sorted with the mining council, and it just seems like we are close to Tesla re-announcing the acceptance of Bitcoin. That'll send people into a frenzy. There's a lot of things that are coming up that is very bullish for Bitcoin and could send the price soaring in the short term. And like I said, everything is lining up. Fundamentals, technicals, everything about Bitcoin is turning bullish. So the bears, who are always going to scream bearish that Bitcoin's worthless, it's going lower, have lost all of their points. The FUD doesn't work. TA is starting to disagree with them, and the fundamentals have never agreed with them. So this bullish sentiment in the market coming back, people jumping back in, not using leverage to keep the price and be able to maintain a high price is something that's going to really start to accelerate Bitcoin, I think. And just getting into this range will be absolutely massive, where, this line up here at about 58,000 is the only thing in this range. We could go from like 49,000, 50,000, challenge 58, even 60K, and then go and challenge new all-time highs where there's nothing up here to even, it'd be price discovery again. So Bitcoin turning very bullish. The price has changed, market sentiment's changed, and we are on the uptrend here. As always, guys, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.